All right, so today I want to talk about the Fujifilm X100vi. I've been using it for a couple of weeks now, and I've been using it as an everyday walk-around camera, just shooting and documenting things over the past two weeks. And I've noticed some things that makes this camera have a pleasant shooting experience. But in today's video, I want to share with you guys 5 things that I like about the Fujifilm X100vi, everybody. Starting off with the number one thing that took me by surprise is the teleconverter. I thought I would never use this because I never cared for it before. But since the Fujifilm X100vi has the 40 megapixel sensor inside, when you punch in, you'll still have a bit of resolution power. And I find that very useful. I was exploring the back roads of the Algarve and stopping around some small towns in this area. And due to my anxiety and my avoidant personality, I didn't want to cross the road or zoom in with my feet to capture the photos. I just needed to punch in using the teleconverter, and it works. Honestly, the further I can be away from humans, the better. And I thought this teleconverter came in handy. So you can punch from 23 millimeters from a 35 millimeter focal length to a 50 millimeter full frame equivalent. And when you do that, you get 20 megapixels, which is still enough resolution left over. And you can punch in once more, and that's going to be around 70 millimeter full frame equivalent. That gives you about 10 megapixels, which is plenty enough for social media. Again, this is a crop. You're going to get the punched in image for the JPEGs, but once you get it back in RAW format, it will go back to the full field of view, which is the 23 millimeter that you get from using this lens. But using the teleconverter does help to see what my composition look like when I'm using the converter. All I have to do is just spin the focusing ring on the X100vi. I am able to get a couple of different looks, and it's been proven itself quite valuable in the 2 weeks that I've been using it. The next thing that I like about this camera, and I was pleasantly surprised by, is the size. Using this camera over the X-T5 was a different shooting experience. I really enjoyed shooting with the Fujifilm X100vi. I forgot how fun it was shooting with one, and in this past couple of weeks, it was a reminder. I enjoyed how light it is, and that caught me off guard. All the crazy specs inside in this tiny camera is freaking great. It's so light to wield this thing around, and it just looks great too. I've gotten a few compliments already. I had someone approaching me the other week asking me what film camera it was, and I said, it's a Fujifilm and it's digital, like I'm some freaking cool kid, you know what I'm saying? Another thing that caught me by surprise is the battery life. So I was talking shit about this battery in a few of my videos already. Like, you know, I was saying that this battery is not going to be able to keep up. It sucks. Like, I really do not like this battery in the X-T3, the XS10, and what have you. But let me just say this. I was out using this camera for a portrait session the other day, and I was shooting for several hours, and I must have took like over 1,400 shots, and I didn't have to switch batteries. I don't remember needing or feeling the need to switch, so I'm going to have to eat my words for talking so much shit when it comes to the battery life. I didn't think that this camera could handle all that power, so I apologize to Fuji for talking shit. I think the battery is fine. I'm only imagining what could have been if they just put the other battery inside. I only use this camera for photography only. Once you start shooting video, it's going to deplete much faster, especially if you're using 6.2K and 4K 60. So your mileage may vary, but for what I'm using, this camera, the battery life has exceeded my expectation. Honestly, I just thought it was going to be trash. So caught me off by surprise. I'll tell you that. Another thing that I also like is the leaf shutter and how quiet it is. This thing is damn near silent. I was outside with it, and we could not hear a thing, me, my friend Tom's, and the model that I was shooting with. So this camera can be a very discreet machine when you need a silent camera. It's great for those, you know, those ceremonies and events where you don't want to disturb people with your shutter. So I'm very impressed by how silent that shutter is. So it was pretty cool. Let's move on to the last thing that I like, and that is the Reala Ace film simulation. I think it's a beautiful film simulation. I was shooting with it all day, and I really like how it looks on the back of the LCD screen. It pops so well, and I was switching back and forth with my Sony a7C II and the Fujifilm X100vi. I just prefer the images from the X100vi over the Sony's. Mind you, the Fuji colors aren't accurate, but it doesn't have to be. For me, I think it just looks more pleasing than whatever you see on the back of the Sony a7C II's LCD screen. And I can't wait until the Reality Ace firmware update comes to the other cameras as well, because it's a beautiful film simulation. Well, there you have it, folks. These are the things that I like so far from the Fujifilm X100VI. I know there are some more stuff that I haven't mentioned, but I'm going to save that for the review. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that X100VI review video when it does drop. And if you're interested in the Fujifilm X100VI, I'll leave the links down in the description below. I got more Fujifilm X100VI content coming your way, so make sure to subscribe for that as well. And thanks so much.